Hello and welcome to another CyberRealm video tutorial. In this video, I'm going to talk about the following top topics. We're going to start off with the structure of the web filter, the default web filter policies, how to create a custom web filter policy, and the global settings of the web filter. Now this is applicable to all the users inside the network. Let's see what we have inside the structure of the web filter. Now, I have a paint that is just designed for this purpose. And in this, you see a bunch of boxes. And if I see the bottommost ones, I should see a bunch of domains listed under each box that belong to a similar category. Now, if I say a similar category, that means that have a similar functionality. In this first example, I have Facebook and MySpace defined. So obviously, they are social networking sites, which are also called as dating and matrimonials in the CyberRealm terminology. At the same time, we also have Twitter, Google Blogs that form the blog category, emails, and also sports or the following items that you see on the screen. Similar to this, we have around 85 plus different categories located right on the appliance. Now, here is the structure of the web filter of the CyberRealm. A bunch of similar domains or similar categories or similar websites form a category, and a bunch of categories form a policy. Now, on a policy, either I can allow a category or either I can deny a category based upon my requirement. In this example, I have 4 different departments in my company, and they are sales, engineering, accounting, and the CEO of my company, which is also considered a separate department for some reason. Now, I have different requirements and they have different level of access based upon their work profile. And for sales, I have this following web policy defined. I have dating and matrimonials or social networking sites completely allowed for my sales guys. I also have enabled the blogs, but I deny the pornography, email, and sports at the same time. But for my engineering, it's completely different. I have a different set of rules set up for my engineering. I'm going to allow email, I'm going to allow search engines, but I'm going to deny these categories listed down here. And I have accounting, which have a different set of policies defined. So what I'm going to say here is, what I'm going to mean here is, I can define a bunch of policies that consist of different set of categories, and I can select either to allow a category or deny a category based upon my requirement. And finally, the policies are being applied to a user or a group or an IP address. Now, as a total, here's the structure of the CyberRealm policy web filter. A bunch of similar domains or similar websites form a category, and a bunch of categories form a policy. And a policy is the one that's going to get applied on a user or a group of users or an IP address. Now let's navigate back to the CyberRealm GUI. Now let's go back to your web filter section, and we should see the categories listed down the line. So we have the categories, as I said, we have 85 plus categories, and you should see all of them here in 5 different pages. And next item is the policies that we have. As you see on the screen, these are some predefined policies that are set up or that comes by default on the CyberRealm's firmware. And if you see the first policy, that gives you a complete access to the internet. So anyone can go to any website without being denied by the cyber. But at the same time, we have the reporting enabled. So we're going to see what exactly they're visiting, and that will be shown in the form of reports. But we also have a second policy for schools. Now this policy is for Children Internet Protection Act, also called CIPA compliance, and this is mainly applied in school districts or in universities. Now, taking into the consideration of the corporate environment, CyberRealm also designed a policy just suitable for your corporate network. This is called the General Corporate Policy. Now, in the General Corporate Policy, we have the following items denied: the pornography, the nudity, the adult content, All these that are not required for the web filtering will be completely denied. And also, when you go back to the categories, you should see something called classification. Now, the classification of the websites are being done based upon 4 different types. 1. Neutral. 2nd. Unhealthy. 3rd. Non-working. 4th. Productive. Now, this is going to give you a much better look at the web trend of your company on a daily basis. So if you want to see who's the user who's trying to go to unhealthy websites, I can get a report of that based upon the classification of the websites which I see right here. Now, moving further, now I can also define some custom-based web filter policies, which shows some additional websites that I can deny on the CyberArm. Let's say I have a requirement for a school here and I have to define a policy for the students. And the template which I'm going to obviously choose is going to be SIPA. And this default policy is going to import the whole settings that are the whole categories that are denied inside the SIPA default policy. Now, my school district policy says that there are more categories the student needs to be denied from. So I want to add more to this list. So I can just go ahead and edit this particular custom policy to my own requirement, or to meet my own requirement, by just adding some more categories listed here. Let's say I have, let's take an example here. Let's say I want to deny sports, and I want to deny them from being accessed in the sports, and at the same time, swimwear and lingerie is something I wanted to deny also. So I can just select that categories listed, and I can just add them right here. And I just got an error here. Now this error says that the web filter policy rule could not be added because the web filter rule already exists. Now I have selected sports and swimwear and lingerie. And let's see if that categories already exist down the line. Oh yes, they do exist right here. So whenever I go ahead and add any category, I just need to make sure that it's not listed in the list that is already present on the background of the screen. So let's take an example here. I am going to deny advertisements, and I'm going to deny music. That's not there. And I'm going to select the action as deny right here. So this has been successfully denied. So I've denied music and advertisements for my students. So this is my requirement. I just completely added a custom-based web policy. Now, this particular policy is something like I can apply on my users right here. So I can create a user group called students, and I can just apply a web filtering policy on the students group. Now let's not worry about this right now. Now we also have a section for the settings. Now these are the settings that are applicable to my students or anyone who is being enforced by the web filtering policy. Now the very first option says enable safe search. And these days there are some users who are super smart, and they can go to a website, and if they get denied by the website, they can simply type the keyword on the Google, and they can get all the images that they want from the Google search engine. So for example, let's take I'm denied from being from accessing sports, and I wanted to know more about football. I can just type football right here, and I can just type images. I'm going to get everything about football right here. Now, even if your web filter is denying your sports category, you can still see something that is inside the sports category by using the Google search engine. Now, if I enable this option, and if this is turned on, any user who is being denied for sports or any pornographic sites cannot do this search right on the Google. So he will be denied from accessing the Google search engine for accessing the images or any web content search for those keywords. Now the second option we have here is we have the CyberArm web filter denying pharming-based websites. Now, this is mainly targeted on the internal users. If your DNS server is compromised and if it is infected, this could cause some problem with your resolving a website to an IP address that is not a legitimate one. So a hacker or an attacker can take this in advantage, and they can resolve the DNS to their own web server, which is not an original one. So it might lead to steal your data or your username and passwords or your banking information. On enabling this particular option, CyberArm is going to resolve all the web category or website requests that are coming from the users using the DNS server of the CyberArm, and it's going to protect all the users from pharming websites. Now we have the denied message that can be customized. You see a bunch of HTML lines here. So this can be either customized or defined by an administrator based upon his requirement. At the same time, you can also choose his custom logo or his company's logo for any CyberArm denied message. So this will be displayed when the user is trying to access a website or a category of a website that is denied on the CyberArm web filtering. Now with this, we're going to complete the module 2 of the CyberArm web filter. In the next module, we're going to concentrate on how to apply a custom policy or a default policy to a user or a user group, and we're going to see more about allowing a website from a denied list. And again, thank you so much for watching this video, and have a good day.